Good morning, guys. Today's a surprise training because I took a break on Wednesday to complete my new master class for healing from codependency. It specifically addresses the SAD cycle, the seduction, abuse, discard cycle, and the euphoria, distress, despair cycle. It gives you the understanding you need as to why codependency has happened in your world. Explains what's called the freeze-fawn loop, and then it shows you the 3 steps that start to liberate you and bring you back to your happiness through the Rapid Heal system. So, yeah, you can check that out. Just go to masterclass.freeself.com. Now, if you're new to me, I'm Marshall Burtcher, and I help codependents, survivors of narcissistic relationships and love addiction, rediscover their happiness, their well-being, who they are, and move into their life in a way that brings them a natural, innate joy. So, before we get in today's topic, which is all about the path back to you, I need to share this out to the community. So, the community is your safe haven where you can find love, support, training, guidance, and understanding for the journey that you've been on through the nightmare that you have been experiencing. You can find out and experience for yourself that you're not alone, that what you've been going through is real, and you're not crazy. So you get the support you deserve in that. So let me get this shared out to the community here. Boom. Boom. There we go. So guys, the path back to you. Knowing, being, and living your value, your voice, and your vision. I'm excited to talk about this, and this is why I'm doing it on a Friday, because I miss talking to you guys. I enjoy giving to you this way. I enjoy contributing this way and sharing these things and connecting with you here on Facebook, YouTube, and being able to share my own journey and experiences so that you can come back to you as well, because you can. Now, in codependency, whether it's from a narcissistic abuse relationship or neglect, or you grew up with highly avoidant or unattuned parents, you've been through hell with an employer or a partner, spouse, codependency requires us to leave ourselves, to forget ourselves. Sometimes if we even didn't have a shaped self, a sense of self, then we end up just absorbing whatever the other person or persons impress upon us as being who we are. Hey, Fabi, thank you. Yeah, I am. I love what I do, and I love you guys, and my students, my clients. You guys are badasses. We do some really hard work, and last Sunday we had our class 5 in our From Addiction to Connection course, which deals with the love addiction. And we did some of the hardest work we'll ever do in our lives, and that's confronting reality. And it's a big deal. I have a lot of respect and honor for you guys because having done it myself, I know the journey, and it can be really rough. And but it's also very liberating because part of that journey is coming back to us, and that's one of the biggest challenges here with codependency. So we gave ourselves up. And we gave ourselves up in very specific ways. And I'm going to get into more detail on those ways over the next 2 weeks as we build up to the launch of the happiness strategy, which we start on August 17th. So that class, the last class for 2020 starts then. But this process of losing ourselves happened passively. It's not necessarily something we deliberately did all the time. There are points in my journey that I can point to and say, yep, that's when I got rid of that aspect of myself. I shut that out. I said no to this aspect of who I am. And then there's other parts where I didn't know I had done that. So the path back to us is really a process of discovery and reclaiming ourselves from the narcissist or from the abuse, from the neglect, from the emptiness, and from the loneliness, and from the fog of the unknown. The unknown is one of the bigger factors that we really wrestle with in our exit from codependency and our entrance back into who we are, what I call self-advocacy or the self-love cycle, which is knowing, valuing, and respecting who we are. because that produces a result of love of self. And in that journey, it's the unknown that we don't know how to wrestle with. We don't know what our voice is. We don't know even if these are our own feelings, right? Are these feelings coming from someone else, or am I supposed to feel this way? Should I feel that? Should I think that? Should I want this? Should I not want that? What is my voice? Who am I? When we ask that question, who am I, we're seeking some very specific answers in that. And in my journey in discovering who I am, one thing I've realized is I'm probably never going to know all of me. Because one thing that I've discovered is that there's a lot of me to understand. and as I've gone through this discovery journey of self, I've accepted that it's more of a journey rather than a destination. Like, I have given up expecting that I'd ever know myself. Wake up one day and I know who I am completely. I can stop that journey. No. What I've found and what I've accepted was that each day I get to discover who I am or who I want to be in this world. And some days I want to be a chompy person, get out there and really draw some lines in the sand and ruffle some feathers and be firm on some things. Other days I'm more soft and kind and gentle with it, a little more flexible. Some days I'm indifferent to things. See, we are dynamic. And in codependency, we were conditioned to believe that we have to be a static thing. The static thing needs to be perfect, it needs to be ideal, and it needs to make sure it doesn't ruffle the feathers of the other people. It better maximize their feelings, their wants, their needs, their presence, and it better not rock that boat. See, codependency requires us to shed ourselves, to empty ourselves, avoiding of self. And I didn't say avoid, I said void. That means discard ourselves. And what that does is it creates a space in which we can then shape ourselves to the expectations of the other person. This is how we lose ourselves. We become absorbed in regulating, controlling, managing, or becoming what they want us to be. Okay, so we were going to regulate, manage, and control their feelings so that we feel safer to be ourselves. But to feel safe to do that, we have to become what we think they want us to be. This shows up as people-pleasing. This shows up as dismissing our own wants and needs. This shows up as ignoring our own feelings, our own intuition, our own physical presence, our own limitations, our own no voice, and our own yes voice. I call those, the no voice, I call the voice of repulsion, and the yes voice, I call the voice of desire. These are natural impulses in us that illuminate us to ourselves because they're intrinsic, they're built in. But in codependency, our focus is anchored in them. We're absorbed in their point of view. It's called external orientation. It means we're seeing the world, we're seeing ourselves, we're seeing them through their point of view, rather than accessing our point of view, our feelings, our thoughts. This is how I got lost. So in previous training, we talked a fair bit about that. But coming back to us requires this process of internalization. Internalization is a practice of self-reference. What do I think? What do I feel? What do I want? What are my limits? How does this align with me? How does it not align with me? What do I need in this to feel safe? What do I need this to be for me to feel happy? We start to orient back to self and make ourself the prime reference point in our life, the most important or priority one. So yesterday, and I'll post this in the comments, the link to it, but I posted an infographic that had 3 elements to treating ourselves with love and respect, and it's to treat our feelings, our needs, our value, our presence, our person, our limits, our boundaries with 3 specific things. That's importance, value, and priority. And when we start doing that, we start understanding ourself. We start reconnecting back to us, because it's self-acknowledgement. It's like, I got to know what I'm thinking and feeling. I don't know where my boundary is, what my limits are here. Who am I in this space? How does this align with what I want? And notice I say want a lot in this, because knowing ourselves and moving towards happiness isn't a needs-based process. It's a wants-based process. Happiness is a byproduct of aligning with and fulfilling our wants and our needs, but fulfilling needs is more of a function of healing and then maintaining our healed state so that we have a solid foundation to reach for our wants and our desires and to accomplish something there that is meaningful to us. So, in a very interesting, or I'd say paradoxical way, maybe not paradoxical, maybe ironic way, becoming happy and knowing who we are is about indulging in understanding what we want and what we don't want, and giving that importance, value, and priority in our lives. This is how I start to come back to you. So how on earth do we even know what these things are for us? To know, be, and live who we are, we need to understand three very specific things. And over the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk about these at depth. We need to understand what our value is. We need to understand the three types of value that we've been operating through. We need to understand what our voice is. We need to understand the three voices that we've been operating under. We need to understand what vision is, and we need to understand what true and false vision and how they show up, and what those are and how they show up. It's these three fundamental factors that connect us back to self, that illuminate ourself to ourselves. It's like you've been wandering in a dark room forever, trying to figure out, who am I? What do I want? What do I need? What do I feel? Where do I belong? What's my purpose in life? Why do I exist? Why am I here? And you've been out here. The dark room is reality. It's your material reality. It's seeking it through other people. It's seeking it through love, through relationships. Seeking it through sex, money, business. It's seeking it through performance, doing, being a high performer, all that kind of stuff. And the answers aren't there. That's why you're empty. That's why you're lost when it comes to who you are. It's why life is frustrating you, because life isn't going to give you those answers. Life is just going to reflect back to you what you believe about you. To find ourselves, to know ourselves, to understand ourselves, to be ourselves, we have to go within. And it's one student from the previous iteration of the happiness strategy said, seems like very basic, foundational, primal stuff. It is. It is. That's where it's at. It's not a complex process. It's a very basic, simple process that we didn't get to go through, especially if we were children of narcissistic or unavailable or codependent parents. We didn't get to go through this process. It's technically called individuation. It's self-discovery. It's discovering who we are. Because one of the biggest challenges we've encountered, biggest abuses we've encountered, is being told who we are. I mean, if you've been told who you are, someone's told you who you are, comment below. Let me know what they told you you are. I was told I was a good boy. I was told that I am a son of God, for instance. And that had a lot of context and meaning. It's a very loaded claim. I was told that I am a pliant person, a cooperative person. I was told that I am very obedient. I'm not a burden. I'm not in the way. But then I was also told I was a burden, especially if I had feelings. See, people told me who I was rather than help me discover who I am. And discovery comes in the form of questions. Well, what do you think about that? What do you feel, Marshall? What matters to you here? What is your point of view? What are your questions about it? What's going on there for you? See, those are self-referencing questions. They are questions designed to to guide us to pull inward and reference ourselves. And they're very simple questions, and they should be, because things that are typically true are direct, clear, and simple when it comes to understanding ourself. And then we can break down situations and relationships through that model and understanding the complexity from its simple, basic elements of what's going on. So direct, clear, and simple ways can connect us back to who we are. And that's the power and the journey of the happiness strategy. This is what it helps you accomplish. So if you've struggled knowing yourself, if you struggle to understand your feelings, are these my feelings? Are they someone else's feelings? Who the hell's feelings are these? What do I really want? Because that question I ask a lot. And I ask it to myself, and I'll tell you, we go out, my brain goes out into the reality and goes, well, I want a Subaru WRX SGI, and I want this house, and I want to go to a movie, and I want to go on a date, and blah, 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 blah. It's all externalized. That question, when you turn it inward, you start to discover a lot of things about yourself. One, you're going to discover you don't really know yourself, and that's good, because now you can start asking, well, what am I aware of here? What am I sensing here? Because see, guys, knowing ourselves, loving ourselves, being ourselves, living who we are, these come from the foundation of sensing. It's somatic. It's in the body. It's not up here in the analytical land. It's down here in the heart, in a knowing, in a presence, in a being. And that's what we go deep on in the happiness strategies, connecting you, giving you practices that help you sense into and then align with yourself and act from it to discover more of you. This component is what I call the second phase of happiness after codependency. So there's 3 phases to achieving your own well-being and happiness after codependency. Phase 1's healing yourself, and that's what the Rapid Heal system does. We address the emotional trauma of narcissistic abuse, which includes the shame, fear, guilt, and fatigue that's impacted on us. It addresses the love addiction, trauma bonding through the From Addiction to Connection course, and so it can restore your peace, sanity, and connection to yourself and others. And then it addresses unmet needs and the neglect there through the nurture practices and nurture program, so that you can feel internally connected, externally connected, and you can build healthy interdependence. Second phase is the happiness strategy. It's knowing yourself, coming to know, love, and live your value, voice, and vision, basically. It's knowing and understanding who you are, what you want, and going for it. And then the third phase is being able to share yourself, and we do that through the relationship strategy that launches later this year. If you're struggling to know who you are, you want the answers. You want to understand yourself. You want a guided path back to you, or a guided path that reveals you to you for the first time. Then the happiness strategy is what you're looking for. So I'm accepting 25 people into the course. So that's the cap on it. We have 24 seats available. We launch in just over 2 weeks. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube. And if you're an existing student of the Rapid Heal system, you've got a sweet upgrade option there. If you're a new student to me, you actually get the Rapid Heal system included with the happiness strategy. So you get both steps 1 and 2 with this. All right, guys, I appreciate you. I want you to go out there and ask yourself that question. What do I want? But I want you to direct it inward and listen to what shows up. Listen to the sensations you feel when you walk around the world and see and smell and taste and experience the world. And see what is light and expansive and attractive to you. See what's repulsive to you. And that's going to be your journey back to you. It's one of the steps. But, okay. So next week we'll get more into understanding the 3 values, the 3 voices, the 2 elements of vision, and we'll start getting you down that road to knowing, loving, and living who you are. Okay. Appreciate you guys. Remember, you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping, and I will see you guys in our next training. Okay. Bye-bye.